Hi, and welcome to a new episode of The Value Creators. Today's guests will be Guy Geldhof and Fabienne Roussel, both partners at Vesalius Biocapital. Hi, and welcome.
Hi, Stefan.
Hi, how are you?
Great, and it's a real pleasure to host you. So, what can you tell us about Vesalius Biocapital?
So, Vesalius Biocapital, we're an established venture capital firm. We specialize in life science, biotech, since the beginning. We have been created in 2007 here in Luxembourg. Our first office was in the downtown area. Later on, we moved to Strassen, where the hospital is located. And I'm very happy to announce that our story is going to continue. We just closed this summer our fourth fund, a new SICAR. We have almost 100 million euros of commitments in this first close. We're still open to get some new LPs on board and further extend it, but we're ready to do there. As I mentioned, we chosen from the beginning for Luxembourg because of the SICAR structure, and I think it has helped us a lot to attract also many private individuals into our fund.
First of all, congratulations for this first and successful fund collection and fundraising phase. And secondly, what could you tell us also about your organizational setup now?
So as Guy mentioned, we set up this SICAR in Luxembourg, and in 2017 chose the Eureka status for fund number 3, and we also chose it for fund number 4, working on it. And so the office is based in Canton, and the team is about 12 people strong, with contacts all over Brussels, Paris, Lisbon, Germany. And we gather in-house all the expertise needed to cover all the steps of the investment with us.
Excellent. And in your specific sector, what are the expectations you have before, analyzing a company and executing an investment?
The choice we made of the investment verticals, there are two some. The first one is the biohealth sector, and the second one is digital health. So we will focus on companies that have already quite advanced programs in late preclinical, early clinical development. And if we consider the digital health or medtech companies that are ready to reach a CE marking. So those are quite mature companies. One of the very first and obviously evaluation that we do is the science and what is the quality of the science and how much of backup we have. And another very important evaluation, especially in the biohealth sector, is the quality of the IP linked to the assets of the company. Once we have security on those two, then we start, of course, evaluating the size of the market and the fit to market, and what are the necessary steps to actually reach the full development by the company. So the due diligence process is actually something that, again, we can do all on our own, and we can involve easily expertise from outside from our venture partners.
So you're both combining financial and also scientific expertise within your group.
Yeah. We're quite autonomous from that point of view.
Okay, excellent. And if we now focus more on the value creation process, how do you generate this added value and how do you measure it?
Well, I think as Fabienne mentioned, we do this due diligence, and it's for us it's basically the starting point. I think it's a discovery process of this. In our case, very often still very young company that still has a lot of area to growth. And we try to identify really upfront what are the important milestones we need to work through the lifetime. And I think that's the approach that we basically build. And we cannot say that we have a general approach like other companies. It depends the area we are in, it depends the money we invest, it depends the indication we're in. And in function of that, we will reinforce the team, we will try to get the right funding mix and support measures for this type of companies. So I think that this is the way how we create value in a generic way to say.
So it's not an off-the-shelf classical playbook then here?
No, we don't have the long tick boxes and work programs as you see sometimes. I think it's really tailor-made because the success factors for a company in oncology are not the same as the ones, for example, in cardiology, just to mention. And I think even you don't need to be a specialist to really feel that it really needs an approach on the size of the company and on the type of the company.
Completely makes sense. Would you like to share with our audience one or two examples of successful value creation processes and stories?
Sure. I think maybe I'll cover first one from our digital health, because we are not only the ones that invest in molecules and these type of things, but since especially mid-fund 2, we have seen this digital health emerge, and I think we were one of the first investors with a life science background to invest in digital health, and we identified pretty early onwards Sword Health, a Portuguese company that had developed a unique technology that could revolutionize physiotherapy. You know, physiotherapy, if you think about your physiotherapist and if you go to his cabinet, I always felt that it was still practiced like 50 years ago. You go to see him, they prescribe you some exercise and you execute it. This was a group of Portuguese engineers specialized in motion measurement and doctors, because the two disciplines were present, and that we liked a lot. And so they allowed a way to have patients to do the physiotherapy remotely and much more efficiently. And then the added value that we had is, of course, and again, we are there with the due diligence, we identified at that moment that Europe will be a very difficult place to get all the value in there. The industry is a bit more conservative. In the US at that time, you had the triple aim in flow of Obamacare, and so you had an ecosystem which was really open to a company there, and then we basically pushed the company on two axes forward. We identified you should go to the US, but of course in a smart way. We are still Europeans, and you know, we pushed the company to open a small office in New York and try to find local funding, so we could attract American investors who, like us, then open the network and create value, and then from there build the company locally. And I think that was the first success factor. A second success factor I think that we had is to really go for medical differentiation. And we had lots of discussions with the other investors that would see it more like a kind of a wellness play and small incremental improvements. We really said, well, the true value of this company will be if you are medically relevant and that you can convince orthopedics and physiotherapists that the care you give through this way of sort is better than the care in a traditional way.
Sounds very smart. And on your side, another example you would like to share, Fabienne?
Another example actually stems from the expertise that Vesalius gained in previous funds in female health, which is a terribly underserved area. Previously, Vesalius was involved into OGIDA funding, and we came across that opportunity in female health, and especially in indication endometriosis, which is currently right now has absolutely no therapeutic issues, and that company based in Finland, in Turku, of all places, for endo. So once we were involved with the company, we really realized that the clinical trials really needed to be reoriented and strengthened in such a way that it would actually create a really strong value even before reaching phase 2. the phase 2 of the clinical trials. You start with the safety, and then you test phase 1 on a small number of patients, and then phase 2 on a larger number, and so on and so forth. And so when we came, we realized that the design were not optimal, and we helped them shape them up. And it actually was so successful that the company was actually acquired before the end of the phase 1 results, which is actually amazing. And another way we created value is help them realize that the primary indication that they were looking for was probably not the best, in the sense that most differentiated. And by helping them choose endometriosis, we realized a first-in-class for the market. So that's actually a very successful exit that happened last year, I believe.
And I think not only from the exit, but I think also if you look at the impact that you have with these two examples that we give, you know, endometriosis, I think, is a very terrible disease. I'm not a woman, so I will personally never suffer from it, but if you see how impactful it is on the lives of women, and I think that you can bring there a solution to an underserved medical need, I think it's great. The same with SWORD. You know, SWORD, it's physiotherapy. There's more and more a lack of physiotherapists, and by promoting or stimulating these type of tools, you make it available for many more people at the time they want, and you add to their quality of life.
Again, two great examples, profound ones, because on one side you still have more than 50% of the world population you could treat.
Address.
And on the other side also then some expansion in other countries, and also kind of tackling this medical desert, which we hear lots in other countries, kind of building up, where you don't find any new generation of therapists or medical doctors. So yeah, very good, and that helps the entire sector and human population. Thank you for sharing those examples, and wish you lots of luck for then the next phases and investments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefano. We'll continue to create value.
Absolutely. Let's do that together. Thanks a lot, and see you very soon.